Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Eclectic Experience. I am your hostess with the mostest, Shy Rosalind, and this is episode 3 of It Happened One Night. It Happened One Night is part of the YouTube Street Guide series. They are teaching moments, I'd like to call them, or um let's see, what's the right word? Um, Cautionary tales of things that are happening on these YouTube streets. And before we get started, of course, um, my fair use notice. The following documentary may contain excerpts of unlicensed videos used with lawful excuse for critique, commentary, and analysis. The documentary may contain some video footage whose use has not been authorized by the copyright owners. We believe that the authorized use of these videos constitute a fair use of the copyright material as provided for in Section 107 of the U.S. copyright law. I do have this disclaimer, but there are no clips in this episode of It Happened One Night. So let us begin. So, this episode concerns what's called a beef. Now, a beef is a disagreement between content creators. Sometimes one creator has certain talking points, another creator has different talking points, and there's some kind of contradiction or major disagreement between the two. Sometimes it's a discovery regarding a creator's background, otherwise known as doxing, or um, doxing's pretty much the main tactic used for that, or questionable tactics of one creator called out by another. So, someone could be doing a reaction video to another creator, pointing out some flaws in the argument, and then the first creator gets upset and they go back and forth. And I'll get into what they go back and forth about and what the tactics they use are. So, on YouTube, of course, there have been many beefs over the years. Um, there's the classic Fresh and Fit versus Abba and Preach. There's the O'Shea Duke Jackson versus everybody. Well, no, I take that back. I think it was also O'Shea and I think it was O'Shea and Fresh and Fit, and and so on and so forth. But there have been many beefs over the years, and sometimes the creators actually do come together offline and have a discussion, and there is a resolution. Sometimes there is no resolution, but they basically call a truce, so to speak. And sometimes the beef can be revived depending on the situation. I have discovered. So the beef that I'm going to be talking about tonight was sparked by this woman. I'm going to call her just Pasty Things. Y'all can probably figure out who I'm talking about. Um, about a month or so ago, she had an episode of her podcast where there was a white supremacist, an avowed white supremacist on her show, and there was basically no pushback. And it appeared that she was agreeing with certain things that he was saying, um, and that pretty much sparked an outrage. And it was a big outrage because this person was supported by a lot of black male content creators in the particular space called the manosphere or the black manosphere. And she had a lot of support because, she basically mirrored took, some would say she stole their talking points, some would say she copied their talking points. And that is also an ongoing side discussion. But this particular episode pretty much sparked a whole lot of backlash. Some um and quite a few of the content creators called her out and said, "Hey, you can't do this." And there are other things that she has been purported to have said even before this particular episode aired, that are coming to light. Um, y'all can just go ahead and search it, and you'll find the different exposés that are coming out about her. Quite a few people called her out as soon as the episode aired. But unfortunately, there are a few who have decided to support her, not call her out, and have decided that she's done nothing wrong. Now, those folks are getting backlash and pushback as well because let's face it, folks, there's a lot of money involved. This particular person has over 1 million subscribers. That's still a lot of influence, and influence means dollar signs and advertisers and all that stuff, super chats and cash apps and things like that. There's a lot of money involved. So of course the speculation is those who are supporting her because they need a piece of that pie that she is still providing. So this particular beef involves two channels. They were both exposing just pasty things, um, roasting and exposing. Now, roasting is when you take a person's content, you analyze it, and you call out the faults. Um, and exposing is finding background information or information from the person's content, and you are exposing the faults and flaws and issues with what they're presenting. So there were two channels that were doing this. One day they both channels focused on this particular person. I'm not going to name the name. Y'all see the picture. Y'all figure out who it is. And one channel claimed they had receipts on some legal issues. The other channel said, "Okay, this person might be coming in my live. Let's collab real quick." And normally, when two channels that have a similar philosophy collaborate, it's usually pretty normal. Nothing crazy happens. They ask questions, and you see what kind of answer the person gets or the person gives. And this particular collaboration went left. And I mean left and left and left again. Channel 1, and you can see the picture of the person. I'm not going to say their name. Was leading the interview because the person in question was actually on their live. So they started asking questions. Channel 2 joins the live because the person said they had receipts. And they joined the live, presented their receipts, and it went real bad. It went bad because Channel 1 started asking questions, normal questions. Channel 2 pulled the receipts, showed their receipts, and was quite aggressive in their questioning. So the interview quickly turned left. Channel 2 was basically calling the person in question a hoe and some other things. And Channel 1's like, "Hey, listen, you can't do that on my channel. Yes, you can give pushback, but you can't come on my channel and call women names. That's not cool." Channel 2 got upset and basically kept trying to be aggressive. Channel 1 dropped Channel 2 from the live and said, "Nah, I can't, this isn't going to work." Um, so Channel 1 dismissed Channel 2. So Channel 1 dismissed Channel 2. Channel 1 continued with the questions of the guest. The guest answered some of the questions. There is a debate as to whether Channel 1 was too easy on the person. But here's the weird part, folks. The weird part is that the guest went to Channel 2's live. Channel 2 went live pretty much at the same time, and kept presenting their documentation. So the guest actually went over to Channel 2's live, um, and it wasn't pretty, y'all. Was not pretty. Um, Channel 2 kept pushing the receipts that they had and the documentation that they had, and kept pushing, and being very aggressive, referring to the guest as, a B and an H, um, which wasn't helping the situation because the guest basically shut down and just didn't answer any questions. Um, Channel 2 did allow some of the audience to come in, and that questioning went a little bit better. It was two women asking the guest certain questions, and the guest did respond to the two women that were asking the questions. Um, and then the host decided to push the agenda again. And then it devolved, and I'm paraphrasing everything. Y'all can go and find what I'm talking about. Um, it devolved into people basically screaming at the guest. The guest just sat there and didn't say anything. At one point, just stopped speaking. Um, and then the host asked the question, and the guest said, "Do you want me to answer or not?" The host played a music clip um, called "She's an H," and basically the guest dropped off from the live. So, yeah, it went bad, real bad. And then it goes from bad to worse. So, Channel 1 felt got disrespected, felt they were disrespected by Channel 2. Channel 1 went to Channel 2's live and said, "Hey, I got a problem. You were saying some things at the beginning of your live." Channel 2 was like, "Well, what did I say?" And Channel 1 said, "I played back your live." Channel 2 said, "What did I say?" Channel 1, I am not sure if Channel 1 was attempting to answer or not, because Channel 2 muted Channel 1. So I never got the answer. We never got the answer, at least not on that live. So Channel 1's like, he realizes he's on mute, so he stops talking. Channel 2 comes back and says, "Well, if you can't tell me what I said, then you're basically full of it." I'm paraphrasing everything because it was very confusing. I had to watch the replay. So Channel 1's like, "Are you gonna let me talk or not?" Channel 2 puts him back on mute, and Channel 1 basically says, "You know what, I'm done because you're not gonna let me talk, so never mind." So that started the battle. Channel 1 got upset, went on a separate live and said that he was ticked off, insinuated that some of Channel 2's documentation may not have been correct, and could possibly cause a problem with the guest, um, and decided that he was going to dox Channel two's family, the moderators, and Channel two's subscribers. Ch- Channel one's friends um also did exposés, I guess, on Channel 2. And from the last thing I heard, they were actually also planning to dox Channel 2. So the fight's on, and it was ugly. Channel 1 challenged Channel 2 to a boxing match. Channel 2 hasn't responded. There are allegations flying back and forth. Um, there are also allegations that Channel 1 made physical threats to Channel 2. Um, and it's become very nasty between the two of them. That's why I'm not naming the channels, but y'all see the pictures, y'all probably can figure out who I'm talking about. Um, but I'm not naming no names. Y'all go ahead and figure it out. If you're really not sure, you can reach me through Instagram and ask me. But honestly, y'all should be able to figure this thing out. So, um, yeah. So, Channel One and his friends have decided to dox anybody and everybody affiliated with Channel 2. And I haven't heard anything since, but it's probably going to be very ugly when it does hit. Now, for those who don't know what the difference is between flagging and doxing. Flagging is part of the YouTube system to make sure that um extremely violent or threatening content is not allowed. So it's kind of a honor system. Like if you see a video, like say say you have YouTube Kids, and all of a sudden there's a video popping up that is not obviously not for children, but for some reason it's on the YouTube Kids thing, you can flag it. So there's a spot you can go to. I think it's like three dots at the top of the video or something like that, or where the likes, where you can hit the like button. There's an option where you can report the video. So YouTube looks at the video, they decide whether or not to allow it or they flag it. There's a flag for that type of content. There's also something called a copyright strike flag, which means the whoever owns the original video that you're commenting on can say you're using my video without permission, and they hit you with a copyright strike. And when that happens, you can appeal it, or you can reach out to the original person and say, "Hey, can we work something out if you drop the copyright strike?" So that's basic flagging 101. Doxing is a little deeper. Doxing is when you do internet searches on people to find out where they work, where they live, addresses. Now, nowadays you have things like My Life, you have stuff like who called me and stuff like that, where you can search a person's phone number and get their information for a fee. People do that, when you're dating someone and you want to do a background check, that kind of thing. um the problem with doxing is that when you obtain that information and you make it public, like you go online and you do a video showing the person's information and their addresses and stuff like that, that is doxing, and that is illegal. It's not illegal to obtain the person's information. It is a legal problem if you broadcast the person's information. So, and that's the part that is very concerning between channel 1 and channel 2. Um that's the concerning part. So here's the question: is this going to be resolved? Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, there have been other YouTube um, uh, disagreements that were resolved. Sometimes it took months, but eventually was they were resolved. So will this one be resolved? We don't know. I'm not betting on it. Knowing how aggressive Channel 1 and Channel 2 are to each other, probably not. Um, do beefs benefit a channel? Sometimes. Depends on who's being discussed. It might bump up views. It might bump up comments and engagement. It might. The drama, is it addictive? Yes, it can be, because think about it. It's like a soap opera. You want to watch every day to find out what's going to happen. So, yes, it can be addictive, and you can be led down a rabbit hole. Um and watching this beef between these channels, um I'm getting like a lot more different videos in my feed related to either the two channels or the topics they're discussing. So yeah, it triggers the algorithm for sure. Um, and then here's the issue, and it is a quandary that I am in. I subscribe to both of these channels. Full disclosure. I subscribe to both of them. Now, am I gonna get doxxed? I don't know. I do send the occasional um, monetary support to both channels. Of course, I have stopped because shit. If I'm gonna get doxxed, why should I give you any money? Um, I'll keep my money in the bank. Thank you very much. And um, my comments have become less. I'm not commenting in the chats, and I'm not commenting um afterwards on the replays either, because shit, why, I'm just a subscriber. Why should I, what the hell what the hell are you doxing me for? No. So I have to do little things like that just to protect myself. I and people have asked me, why do you use your government name on YouTube? Because basically most of my videos are beating videos. Some of them are related to tax prep stuff, in which I use obviously my tax prep company is under my name. My beadwork is under my name. My store is with my name. So if I'm gonna say something, I'm gonna say something with my name, and I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. So, and I subscribe to who I choose to subscribe to, and I support who I choose to support. Now, have I slowed down my support? Absolutely. I'm not going to monetarily support some people who might turn around and dox me. Why should I? There are other channels out there that I do follow, and I still support them occasionally, but nah. For the most part, my pocketbook is staying closed. So what I would suggest, if you happen to subscribe to two channels that are fighting each other, keep the commentary to a minimum. I wouldn't send any kind of monetary support to either one, and because you're basically donating hard-earned money to a battle. And yeah, I would just, like I said, keep the comments to a minimum. Don't show yourself as much as possible. Mm, excuse me. So like I said, this was just a little cautionary tale of what can happen on these YouTube streets. I know we're traveling these YouTube streets, and looking for interesting things to watch and follow, and things that are relating to interests that we have. And, we just have to be careful because sometimes things can flare up and we don't want to be collateral damage. um and my thing is, when it gets this bad, everybody just needs to go outside and get some air. Go take a walk, go to the park, go do some grocery shopping, get out of the house, put the phone down, get a good night's sleep, drink some chamomile tea and chill. That's what I suggest people do. Um, so just be careful out there, folks. Um, and be careful who you give your money to. Be careful who you send your donations to. It's okay to have fun. It's okay to follow the drama a little bit, but don't get caught up in it. And I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of the week. Please join me Saturday for Beat and Chat. It is the day before Mother's Day, so we'll talk about that. And I will be working on a project at my desk. So hopefully I will see you all there. Please like and subscribe. Likes are free. Subscriptions are always appreciated. You can tell a friend or two or three. Um, and I always appreciate that as well. I am getting close to 100 subscribers, so when I hit that 100, I'm going to do a subscriber appreciation party when I hit that 100 mark. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully, it will be soon if it all works out. And I will see you guys on the next one. Take care.